This is Jacob Milton. Like every other Thursday, I try to get people from the community and sometimes outside the communities. Those people are playing an important role in our daily life. I can tell you this, sometimes professionals plays their important role when it's come to our healthcare system, education system, political system. We get people, those are really important people. And they play a pivotal role in order to overcome all of the obstacles we are facing within our community. Sometimes I get lucky, find some important people, those who are playing direct role, positive role. Unfortunately, we have some people, they play negative role, but today I become lucky to have one of the important character who played very important role as a role model in a positive way. I live in Jackson Heights for the last 32 years. And in 32 years, I met people from a different community. It's like Jackson Heights is a hub where you can meet people, those who are white, black, Spanish, Chinese, Bangladeshi, Indian, Pakistani, you name it, Caribbean, you name it. You may find one or two Mongolian. Hey, all are nice people. We love to mingle. A place called Jackson Heights. This election season, in that time, usually Jackson Heights become busy. Why? All of the people are running in Jackson Heights because everyone wanted to get election, everyone want to get elected. They're seeking support from South Asian community. Jackson Heights in 80s and Jackson Heights in 90s are not same. Jackson Heights in 2010, it was not the same as Jackson Heights become today. I become lucky to meet an individual out of nowhere. One day I just met. When I see her, met her, I realize one thing. It's like she born to defend public. I'm not just saying for the sake of the introduction. Only thing I can tell you, some people born with the necks that they born to do public service, they born to help somebody. Sometimes it can be noisy. Sometimes people feel, hey, it's not concerning her. In American society, how people act. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But the person I'm talking about, even if it doesn't apply, she's gonna grab it. Why? Because it's concerning her. She's a law-abiding, loving individual. Happens to be American citizen. A daughter of a Holocaust survivor, whose father, Wufka, in 1939-40s, a Jew from Germany, fled to America because Adolf Hitler was playing his dirty politics, killing innocent Jew in Germany. He came to this country through Ellis Island. His name was there, absolutely. This gentleman knew 9 languages. He used to help people. He worked as an interpreter, helped immigrants from a different culture, different community. He was a great man. A white Jew from Germany fall in love with a lady from Trinidad. Isn't it funny? But that shows that man has an openness. He did not have prejudice against any color, any origin, any religion. Why I says that? Gentleman married a lady from Trinidad. That woman also become one of the pioneers in Jackson Heights area since 1960s, 70s. Still she is alive. And both of them have a couple of children and raise their children with their best of their capacity. The gentleman from Germany, he married somebody whose name is Evelyn Wufka. Evelyn Wufka was an educated woman, had her associates, bachelor. She used to work for Hilton. Today's Hilton is called Conrad Hilton. I asked before the interview, what is Conrad Hilton? I was not aware of it. But my guest today was kind enough to explain to me That's exactly what Conrad Hilton was. She is one of the pioneers that she used to know every single political figure in Jackson Heights, as a matter of fact, all over Queens. She used to know governor, mayor, she used to know anyone and everyone, from the judge to the janitor. She used to know everyone. As of today, still people are running to her. If anyone gets stuck, they goes to Evelyn Wufka. Says, hey, Evelyn, I have an issue. And guess what? She has that capacity to pick up the phone and call Governor Cuomo or Mayor de Blasio. She raised her daughter, the person whom we are talking about. Her name is Talea Wufka. I met Talea Wufka a couple of months ago. Big individual. Big, not by the size physically, I'm talking about mentally, vision-wise, character-wise, mind-wise. She's really big. God made her big in every single possible way. And she's so caring, loving, and she is someone goes forward, do something always which is good for her, good for the surrounding, good for the community. She went to school, got her associate degree, and then she went back to the school, got her bachelor. She could have made herself busy with a 9-to-5 job. It's so easy. Instead, she had a hobby, and that hobby became profession. She became an artist. And she used to work with the renowned artist. She knew lots of famous people as of today, those who are on television and movies. I saw her I have first-hand knowledge that if she's gonna call someone, they're gonna pick up her phone call. But that's not her target in life. Why? When a little child got slaughtered in Bronx by 2 groups of people, no political leader went there. Stand in front of the store and protest. Talea Wufka did. When there was a child couldn't eat, went to the school, there was no food. She went in front of the school, she went in front of the Board of Education, did a protest. Why there is no food? These are the women, not even Muslim. When there was no halal food in the school, she went in front of the city hall. She went in front of the Board of Education and did a protest that halal food should be served. After September 11, when Muslims were singled out that they are all terrorists, these the women stood up tall and says, no, don't call everyone terrorists, because they're not. They're my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like all of you to meet my important guest today, Talea Wufka. I'm very proud to call her my friend, call her my sister. Ms. Wufka, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and I am very proud to call you my brother. And although I do have clothing on right now, I will say that this man has touched my soul and looked into it, and I greatly appreciate that. And I thank you for your kind and humble words. I deem you a beautiful soul, and may God always bless you.
Thank you.
And we can continue from here, my brother.
Thank you. Talea, you and me, even though we are from a different community, but one thing I realized, that day you and me, first day we start sharing a cup of coffee, you grab Bangladeshi and Indian food. You didn't even say this is messy. You just start eating. And I saw how sincerely you took bite of that food. Are you always welcoming, inside that you're welcoming every community people that you see, you're trying to work with them? How is your mind? Like when I saw you biting the food, it was a spicy chicken.
Well, my mindset is this. I was born to a Holocaust survivor and a Trinidadian woman, Trinidadian and Venezuelan, who took me to over 85 countries, and wow. I've explored the world. I was taught when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I actually grew up between Jackson Heights and East Elmhurst. So, you know, I'm first generation American, but I will always consider myself an import. I love my fellow brothers and sisters from around the world, and I'm not scared to try different things. And I felt very at home in your office because of the way both you and your sister treated me, and you welcomed me with open arms, and the food looked delicious, and the setting was just amazing because, you know, your culture is very warm. I feel that the Bangladeshi people, they, you know, they welcome you. You come in and they're like, come on, let's all eat. And everybody just sits down and eats, and it's just a warm feeling. So I just was receptive to that because I'm receptive to good things.
Talea, in your life, I saw you. You could have been a successful in a movie, in a music. You have lots of people. Still, KTU and some other radio station, television station, they're calling your name, they're shouting your name, they're congratulating you. What made you think that you didn't want to have that part in your life, but looking at the people suffering, and you says, no, I have to take that path, not that other fancy path?
I have always been a visionary, which means that, you know, anything that is before me, I visualize, I see past the bigger picture, and I believe that, you know, entertainment was my calling because I was a visionary, and I always felt like in working in entertainment, I could make so much money and feed the world. But then I started to really like see what was going on more and more each and every day because, you know, I've traveled to other countries, and, you know, when I went to Australia, I experienced the segregation with the Aborigines. Right. And, you know, at the time, like, I didn't understand why, you know, black people were behind a fence. Right. And it was so odd to me that I was a child, and I took out a flashlight and I shined it in the officer's face. And I was little, and he wanted to arrest me. Wow. And my father said, no, 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 no. I have this under control. And then when we walked away, my father said, kitten, I am so proud of you. Because to me, I never understood segregation because I feel that we're all human beings and we all bleed red. And I just feel that, you know, today in America, you know, around the world, I just feel that there's so much that I don't think anybody should be starving. And then I got another experience in New Zealand where I was talking to a woman that was homeless, and she was so nice. You know, my parents were inside, they were kikiing, and I went outside and I was giving her food, and the police came and got her. And at first I didn't understand. Like, I felt bad. I said, oh my God, you know, because I guess I was so used to America that I thought that they were taking her to jail. So I felt awful, and I cried and I screamed. And they were pretty much embarrassed. So they came back and they picked me up and they asked my parents permission to take me to where they took her. So they did take me there, and they actually took her to a beautiful 1-bedroom apartment. Nice. With a kitchen, you know. So in New Zealand, homelessness, it's something that's not allowed. As to where over here in the United States, it's like a horse of a different color. Like, I mean, you know, when I would go to school and I would take up psychology, I had this professor, and her name was Dina Kakara, and we got really, really close, and we got really into the books, and, you know, it came out that there are some old people that are actually living in storage units, and they eat corn, and they excrete it, and then they eat it again. Wow. Those facts really tore at my soul. I just didn't, you know, I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why at one point I worked on Wall Street for R. Donnelly and Sons, and, you know, that's a very prestigious company, and we would order tons and tons of food, and clients would come in, and if they didn't want the food, they would just leave it there. I didn't mean to cut you off, but one thing I'm just wondering. A couple of days ago, I was passing Grand Central area, and there was a white homeless man was sitting down on 42nd Street between 5th and Madison, and he stood up and shouted, "This is a Donald Trump country."
means he himself a homeless guy, and he stood up and he was shouting so proudly, "This is a Donald Trump country." How would you categorize this comment?
I categorize that person as mentally challenged because Donald Trump is insane. And that's the only way that I can put it. I mean, I respect all the presidents, the prior presidents. I am a proud Democrat. However, I respected the Republican presidents because they didn't do the things nor say the things that Donald Trump has, nor did they conduct themselves in the manner that he has, nor did they put children to sleep in foil on the floor and segregate them from their children. And they didn't lie and say they were going to make America great again, because America is great. And it was great before Donald Trump because it's the land of the free, which is why people come here from so many different places to have that opportunity to, you know, escape whatever asylum they're under and just to be able to live, you know, under the American, this is what America is about. America is every single denomination, every single culture. And I feel that he's come in and I feel that he has shook this whole country into a state of division.
I know there's a important part or important comment you can make that very openly Donald Trump goes to an event and a line of people are passing, they're shaking hands, and he only touched Caucasian individual's hand and he purposely skipped African American's hand and some other people's hand. And he does it very often. And I remember a couple of years ago, one of the MSNBC host, what's his name? There was an old guy. He was,
Errol?
No, there was a guy, and he called one black girl something, and Reverend Sharpton went to MSNBC and did a protest. But question is, nowadays Donald Trump do it every now and then, that he ignore people. But where are those Republicans now? Those who are saying, "Hey, we are not in favor of segregation. We are in favor of civil rights. Everyone should be treated equally." Where are those people?
You know, that's a good question. And let me just bring something to the table in regards to Donald Trump. Many years ago, there were 5 young boys. They were deemed the Central Park Rat Pack.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know one of them very well, Yusuf, and he is a gentleman, okay? Donald Trump led a hate campaign. He paid for billboards saying that New York, you know, we should bring back the death penalty, you know, that these boys were animals. Now, above all, Donald Trump is a parent. He is a father, as I am a mother. Those boys spent 11 years in the worst of the worst correctional facilities. We all know that if you go to jail for harming a child or a woman, everyone hates you. Your life is over. These young men went to jail for a crime they didn't commit. And fortunately, after 11 years, DNA findings would come back that they were innocent. They were proven innocent. And the person that actually raped and brutalized that poor woman in Central Park came forward and admitted his guilt because there was no way around it. So if I'm correct, I believe it was the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times offered Donald Trump the opportunity to apologize to those 5 young boys.
Did he?
He refused. And he said, "I don't have to." So from the moment Donald Trump did that, you know, I think that that was a really huge statement. It was a statement in terms of his character, like, just as a human being. Like, there was no, I'm sorry, you you were children and your lives were ruined.
Well, one of the reporter from Washington Post, he put it this way: every day in the morning, Donald Trump asked his press secretary that, "You want me to tell the truth?" And press secretary says yes. He says, how much I'm gonna make by telling the truth? He says, "You're not gonna make nothing." And Donald Trump says, "Then I'm not gonna tell the truth."
And you know something? I do believe that, because at the end of the day, he never had the human decency to apologize for his hate campaign against those 5 boys. And, you know, they may have been awarded $5 million, but you know something? Money can't cover
Donald Trump is
what they went through.
Donald Trump is too big for us. I'm going to come back to Jackson Heights area. I'll tell you this. You remember there was a city council member in this area. Her name was Helen Sears. A couple of years ago. Okay. Still I remember, around 96 or 97. There's a couple of Muslim brother was doing right after September 11th on 74th Street and 37th Avenue. They were using some mic or hand mic. They got the city council permission or permission from the local prison. And they were standing over there and they're saying that we are not a terrorist. They are giving a peace message to the people. Even with having that, at that time I remember that state senator was John Sapini. And unfortunately, what happened, that 4 young Muslim men got arrested because
oh my God,
Helen Sears called 115 persons and says there is 4 terrorists. They're preaching terrorism in Jackson Heights area.
That's horrible.
Okay.
I was not aware of that.
Okay. And do you think those type of hatred still exist in Jackson Heights?
I would have to say that, you know, the hatred that occurred after 9/11 was very extreme, and it was extreme, and, you know, to me, it was really foolish, and I'll tell you why. Religion is religion. And I've actually resided with many world leaders. Mayambo Spangoli, Director of Ministries for Zambia, Foreign Ministries. I've resided with dignitaries from Sudan, dignitaries on exchange from the Beijing mission. Let me explain something to you. To be a Muslim is a religion. To be a Christian is a religion. To practice Judaism, that is a religion. What happened on 9/11 was not religion, because Allah does not say kill. Allah says love thy brother. So I was never in favor of looking at Muslims and saying, you know what, they're all terrorists, because they're not terrorists. That was something that was done by a maniac, just like a dictator, just like Adolf Hitler. So you can't say that all the Germans are horrible people because of Adolf, even though he was an Austrian. So you can't point fingers at Muslims who actually pray 5 times a day and are usually the most peaceful, quiet people like on earth, and say, hey, they're terrorists because of something that a homicidal maniac did. It's just not right. It's not fair. Like this man was crazy. Like he was hell-bent. He had hate in his blood. And, you know, also from my understanding, suicide is a no-no in all the holy books. The Bible, the Quran, the Torah. So in those people getting on those planes and doing what they did, that had nothing to do with religion.
Okay. Through your statement, I'm happy that you said those hatred should not stay in Jackson Heights area.
Right.
I'm happy. But one thing I'll just ask your attention. At that time, there was only one public official raised voice that why this thing happened. And that individual was at that time a city council member from East Elmhurst. His name was HIRAM. And there was lots of people, those who stood against HIRAM at that time, including John Savini, including Helen Sears. I saw a couple of even congressmen came, including Anthony Weiner and some other folks.
Weiner, wow.
Yeah.
So, he ain't too much of an angel.
Okay. So everybody came in that favor. Now, why I bring this subject? Helen Sears is no more city council member. Daniel Drum became city council member. I heard that he's a nice human being, and his term limit is almost over.
Danny is a wonderful human being.
He's a wonderful
human being.
And time goes on. Jose Peralta becomes the state senator to John Savini's position after HIRAM MONSERRATE. Okay. Now, that position, this is a hard contested Jackson Heights State Senate position that lots of people are looking at his position. What's your theory that Jose Peralta being challenged by a young woman who used to work for city council member Zulisa Ferreira, HIRAM MONSERRATE, and she is right now doing a good campaign. She's a beautiful woman, beautiful young woman. She's fighting tooth and nail to win the Senate position. But there is some public humor is going on. People are thinking that whether they're going to vote for her, that they're digging up some dirt every election season. Those things come. Probably that is true or that is not true. How do you assess that in a campaign? My position is Jackson Heights people of Jackson Heights deserve better representation. If you are thinking as a human rights, civil rights, and you are activist, other than your political affiliation, what do you think who is better to represent Jackson Heights people in Albany?
Okay, let's begin with, it's not just Jackson Heights. It's Jackson Heights, it's East Elmhurst, it's Corona, it's Left Rack, and it's Elmhurst.
Okay.
It's a huge jurisdiction. I do feel at this point that Jessica Ramos is a beautiful soul. I believe that she's ambitious. I believe she's family orientated. I have actually witnessed Jessica get attacked by a madman on the basis of her fighting for women, because we have this big problem now with Roe versus Wade. And we don't want this to turn back into the 1950s where we are finding women in alleyways. We're in 2018, so we want to keep moving forward. And the issue of women's rights is really, it's across the board right now, because they want to abolish abortion in the state of New York. And I am going to disagree with that, because even when she was attacked in a public forum, there was a nice man who's also a filmmaker, Muslim, and he pulled me to the side and said, wait a minute, this is crazy, because you know, you don't know what the circumstances are. I mean, a young girl could get raped. I mean, you know, anything is possible. Like, you know, these things happen. And then what is she going to do? Is she going to go to a backroom doctor and they're going to find her in a ditch or in an alleyway? I support Jessica. I believe in Jessica. And I believe, if given the opportunity, that she will represent us well. I mean, it's, you know, across the board, it's time for a change, you know, and I feel that She embodies and she embraces everything that we need is to represent us at this time. There is no bias in the woman, and I feel she's passionate, and I feel that she really cares, and I understand that there are rumors about her. There's going to be rumors about everybody. When, you know, when you're aiming to do something good, and you're the underdog, because obviously he's been in this position for so long.
I'll give you an example. I'm not trying to divert the subject to the other. Think about it. When Michael Cohen got indicted by John Mueller, now a special prosecutor, everyone starts calling name that Michael Cohen, he's a snitch. He says some of the like damaging information in regards to President Trump. Now, do you really think that Michael Cohen in the future, he has a future? Do you think any law firm is going to hire her? Do you think any corporate bodies appoint Michael Cohen? Don't you think everyone is looking, they're going to look at him as one of the traitor that he backstabbed his own people? Like, don't you think, how do you categorize not only Jessica, some of the folks in East Elmhurst area? There is some nasty thing going for the last couple of years without even mentioning. Like, everybody deserves to go up.
Right.
You deserve to go up, I deserve to go up, but I don't have to destroy you to go up. If I do, then
exactly,
that's just meaningless.
Exactly, it's meaningless.
So how do you act if someone asks you? How do you say in regards to some of the folks in Eastern Elmhurst area, including Jessica Ramos?
I would say that Jessica's amazing. Give her a chance. That's what I would say. Okay. I would say get to know Jessica. Okay. I would say cast the rumors to the side and give the woman a chance. That's what I would say.
How about Jose Peralta? Do you think it's time to go?
I think we need a change at this point. Yeah, I do. I think we need a change. I think, you know, at one point when I had said that I was going to run in 35, you know, that there was some literature that was passed around that was created. I don't know who created it, of course. I reported it to the police, you know, where I supposedly put flyers out against him. You know, I never really had too much of a connection with Jose. You know, I never really followed his work or his ethics. I knew a couple of his aides. They were nice people. But we never really had that much of an interaction.
I'll stop you. There's something. I'll tell you this. A couple of days ago, there was some flyers came out in Jackson area, East Elmhurst, Corona, some other areas. That flyers are directed to Jessica Ramos and about her background and some of the stuff they're talking about. Now, as soon that flyer came out, and especially Jessica Ramos campaign people and some other folks start jumping, blaming former State Senator HIRAM.
Really?
Yeah. Like, now question is, no one has a proof exactly that who put those flyers in the market. And I myself had that opportunity to take a look at the flyers. As a matter of fact, I couldn't find one single word which is going to be beneficial for HIRAM. But Jessica Ramos and her people blatantly said it, that it is HIRAM. Like, it seems like HIRAM become the easy target for some of the folks that blame HIRAM because he's the bad guy. How do you think, like, is going to be helpful in a political arena that bad-mouthing someone or just blaming someone or put their feet on to someone's shoulder, pushing down more?
Okay, well, let me just intervene on this because I've spoken to many of the candidates and, you know, many of their people. And in the past, I've spoken with people that were on Jessica's camp. And, you know, basically, I'll tell you the truth, they didn't have anything bad to say about HIRAM. So, you know, I don't know who would start this rumor now. I just feel that, you know, HIRAM has become somewhat of a name in everybody's mouth. I mean, and I think the basis
is it because his name has a prominence, or bad mouthing him bring a couple of more vote, especially white vote?
Okay, I think, with all due respect, that HIRAM is responsible for the past and the makings of many politicians that are in the arena now and that were up and coming. I feel that, you know, anyone that HIRAM has touched
Everyone
in the political arena, obviously they rise.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that HIRAM is a genius. I think the man is gifted. You know, he was a police officer.
Marine.
He was a Marine.
He was a law student.
He went to law school for 2 years. He also went to prison. I feel that HIRAM is, you know, someone that is just, you know, he's just a down-to-earth type of person. Like, you know, he's not impressed.
Unfortunately, this isn't it the fact that it was Joe CROWLEY that who was truly gunning for HIRAM MONSERRATE, because in the Queens County, HIRAM MONSERRATE was the only public official who could have challenged Joe CROWLEY and push him to the garbage can. It was Joe CROWLEY who was gunning from every single corner to put him down. Nowadays, when HIRAM MONSERRATE is trying to come back, it is Joe CROWLEY. Yeah, like in her debate with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, first thing Joe CROWLEY has to say, "Oh, you met HIRAM MONSERRATE." Means what? Meeting a HIRAM MONSERRATE is a crime?
Right, but this is what I'm trying to say. Everyone has HIRAM's name in their mouth. So, you know, there's an old saying, like, if someone keeps talking about you and talking about you, it's obviously because you're important. So, I mean, hey, the man, you know, he's gifted. He got into a couple of situations. Listen, we're all human beings.
And I'll tell you,
no one's perfect.
I'll tell you this. This morning, he went to a church over there that Reverend Young, he introduced HIRAM.
Okay.
Jessica Ramos was there.
Okay.
But it was Reverend Young who put HIRAM to give his speech before Jessica Ramos. And guess what? I think HIRAM MONSERRATE was perfect. He was saying that every election should be issue-oriented. What you can offer to the public. What can you do? Doing a character assassination or bad-mouthing someone. Do you think those who are running for public office, they should count on bad-mouthing someone like Talea Wufka look beautiful or Talea Wufka look ugly? Does it really matter? If Talea Wufka has a greater mind to serve more people, why you are looking at otherwise negative side?
Right. Listen, I agree with you, Jacob, because you know something. Look, plain and simple. You know, we gotta remember. You're talking about HIRAM. So HIRAM has already been a senator. HIRAM has already been city council.
Right.
He did a lot of good while he was in office.
Right.
You can't change that. I can't change that. He can't change that. You know, we can't change that. We can't take away from a person's track. Who are we to do that?
Exactly.
Like, I can't take your resume away and say, you didn't do the Jacob Milton show, because it's your show.
Exactly.
So, I mean, obviously, you know, there are people that are out there that appreciate the stuff that he did. I mean, like, me personally, like, you know, I was always in praise of him for his work against the Rockefeller drug law, because that was a horrible law.
I know. And
it was just so deplorable. And when I heard him speak on
my God.
My soul was riveted, because I was like, oh my God, like, you know, come on, back in those days, you're going to throw a man's life away just because he got busted 3 times with a joint? Okay. That's ridiculous.
I'll come back to your future plan. You wanted to run
yes.
for a state assembly. It's 35 district, right? 35 assembly.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it is your district and you did everything in your power. You collected all those necessary signatures.
Yes.
And you did everything.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, you are doing activism before even you have decided to run for public office.
Yes.
You are the one that figured it out. One of the Nazi criminal was hiding in Israel must area for the last 30 years.
Yes.
And it is you who went door to door, including Jacksonite Jewish Center.
Yes.
You tried to put getting support and put support together to remove this guy from the United States. You didn't get any support from the Jewish Center even.
I didn't get any support from anyone because you know what? I'll tell you something. I think at this point, everybody was just saying, you know what? It's never going to happen.
But you did it. You made it happen.
Yeah, they said it's never going to happen. And I said, before I die, it's going to happen because my father was a good man and he died on 37th Avenue, a good man. And here goes this Nazi, you know, collecting taxes, you know, with his building, with his home. Meanwhile, here it is that 270,000 people were deported. Only 40% of them committed a crime. And you have a war criminal who's right there in front of your face. Everywhere I went, I saw him. I saw him in Maspeth. I saw him everywhere. And yes, I kept on, I kept on, I kept on, and I kept on, and I kept on. Until finally, sister, I worked Donald Trump's nerves.
And then you
know what? When I defeated his argument, you understand, because he had no argument, because you have the Nazi here, he got the memo. So, he threw him out the country.
Yep.
But then days later, he wanted to use for his platform some poor girl that was killed by an immigrant to balance things out. And her family said, don't do this. We don't even know you. Can we cry in peace?
Okay. But another thing is it's funny. You are Talea Wufka, who did everything, anything and everything to remove this war criminal from East Elmhurst to out of the country. And you did everything by yourself. You did the picketing, you did the rally. Only 2-3 people were next to you.
One person was next to me,
Paul,
including God.
Including God. It was fantastic. You got the support.
Thank you.
And finally, American channel ABC interviewed you.
Yes.
And when they did the interview, everyone was so proud of you. But do you know the funny thing? Still, I don't think, even from Jewish community and other community, I don't think they recognized your sacrifice. I don't think they recognized enough, they praised enough. They didn't even thank you enough that, hey, Talea, you did the right thing. This is really unfortunate. That's what I felt. Even I saw one of the Bangladeshi newspaper called Askal. I don't consider Askal as a newspaper. Those are like kind of toilet paper. They
have such a way with words.
Yeah. Well, in 35 years, I've never touched even in Bangladesh.
Okay.
But there's a kind of toilet paper. These people put that story without even mentioning your name. And do you know what I did? I'm just letting you know. I didn't tell you before. The day I saw that news, I called the newspaper. I asked for the editor, and editor knew who Jacob Milton is. They're scared to pick up the phone call, and then I took the risk up that who was the story writer, because I knew exactly you are the person behind this.
Yes.
Do you know why I was mad? Why they are not gonna give you credit that you deserve? You did everything. Your picture should be on the front page. It is not. They didn't even mention your name. That's why. Do you think for that reason, like this, if that is the quality of a journalism, then that is not a newspaper. That's a toilet paper.
Exactly.
That's a toilet paper.
I agree with you.
That's my.
And you know what? And I thank you for that. And I will tell you something, Jacob. It was my choice to deal with ABC, and I will tell you why. I love their reporting.
Yeah.
And I knew in my heart that, you know, dealing with other newspapers and news stations, that many people were going to try to manipulate me into thanking Donald Trump for doing his job.
No, he was not.
And I refused to thank him because I knew that it was the fact that I put up such a good argument.
No,
and put him in a corner.
I know. Let's come back. I have to wrap it up. One thing I have to tell you. Finally, Queens County, especially in this area, people are lucky to have a new congresswoman. Joe CROWLEY is done. Finally, 20 years of horrific, what do you call it, resume? Horrific promise that all the time. This is the guy I'm talking about, Congressman Joe CROWLEY. And I'll tell you this, Bangladeshi people are usually good people. They're law-abiding, peaceful people.
I believe
but
so.
On the
love them.
Listen, but on the other hand, Bangladeshi people are good, law-abiding, peaceful people doesn't necessarily mean they have to be dumb. They have to be an idiot. They have to be a loser. I'll tell you this. For the last 20 years, Bangladeshi community almost raised close to $7 to $8 million for Congressman Joe CROWLEY. Without knowing, in 20 years, Joe CROWLEY did not take Bangladeshi side for even once.
That's sad.
Okay? And all those Bangladeshi folks are running around, walking in the Jackson Heights area, other area. Oh my God, Joe CROWLEY is the friend of Bangladeshi community. But my question is, how? What did he do for Bangladesh? Okay? Like, other than raising money, what did he do for Bangladesh? Now, here is another question, Talea. People are coming. People, I'm not talking about you. You have a self-respect. I told you this morning that, Talea, you have a goodness in your heart. You born that way. Like, no one has to show kindness. It's already here. You're already born with it. Now, question is, there is some people, elected official, they're coming to Jackson Heights, raising a couple of dollars and doing election campaign. But here's my question. If Attorney General candidate come to Jackson Heights, Jessica Ramos or some other people come to Jackson Heights, getting an endorsement from Bangladeshi, Indian, Pakistani people, without the presence of Bangladeshi, Indian, Pakistani people, how does it sound?
It sounds awkward. I mean,
Isn't
but
it?
Yeah, it does. It sounds awkward. But I can honestly say that, you know, like, Zeph Teach Out is amazing. And, you know, she was here this morning and she had awesome representation from the Bangladeshi community.
Good.
Because she had by her side, you know, my sister, Nira.
Okay, I have issues. Zeph Teach Out is a wonderful candidate for Attorney General. I have no doubt. But I'll tell you this. Within her close circle, how many Bangladeshi staff she got?
I think she does have a staff member that's from Bangladesh.
And guess what?
Because there was a young lady there this morning.
And guess what? It's really funny. Bangladeshi people become volunteer for the last 20, 30 years in a political arena. I can see they do.
I love them.
But as of today, none of the elected official has one Bangladeshi permanent staff on their payroll. How come?
You know, that's an interesting question. I
ask everybody.
Let me tell you
how come there is no Bangladeshi employee?
You know what? That's a very, very interesting question because, I mean, like right now, like I'm familiar with certain candidates who I have to say that I am definitely endorsing and I love. And one of them, indeed, you know, is Catalina Cruz. I adore her. And I do believe that Catalina at this point is struggling to get on the ballot because, you know, she's going up against County. And I believe that she loves the South Asian community, and I believe that they have really been good to her. And most of her events are actually held at Diversity Plaza because this is where she feels the love.
Listen.
And I do believe that when she is in office, if given the opportunity, I do believe that she will have a staff member.
I'll tell you
from Bangladesh.
I'll tell you one thing, Talea Wufka. You are close with most of the elected officials in this county. You know almost everyone. Okay? And I'll tell you, after this election, after November, I'll give you a call. I'll sit down together with you in January, and I'll ask you how many Bangladeshi people this is elected official hired from Bangladeshi community. Do you know why I says that? Our Bangladeshi people sometimes says we are shy. We hate to ask people, handout or whatever, hire them. But my position is, if this community is helping you when you are struggling in election, and we are doing everything, and you guys don't even have a decency to hire 1 or 2 folks from our community, how come? And guess what? I'm not asking anybody, hey, I'm Jacob Milton, give me a job. I never ask anybody. Only thing I'm asking, get a couple of people from Bangladesh community.
And I agree with you. I agree with you because you know something, honestly, Jacob, like, you know, eventually I will have my seat and I will be in office.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that I have to be honest with you. I have to have a multitude of races around me. I cannot be in one group of people. It would kill me. Because I'm a culture freak. So I like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we can all work together.
Sweetheart,
I agree with you because...
Sweetheart, you can have a little bit of everything.
That's right.
As long as if you have 1 or 2, not Bengali. You know that Bengali is a derogatory word. I don't know anyone told you or not.
Is it really?
Yeah. When white folks used to call black people Negro, that's why when stupid British used to rule India, they used to call Bangladeshi people Bengali as a derogatory way that you stupid nigger.
That's deplorable.
And do you know the funny thing? The stupid Bangladesh, our Bangladeshi folks, 99.9% of the people, they don't even know. I'll give you an example. In 1913, one of our greatest poets, Rabindranath Tagore, he got Nobel Prize. He went to Geneva to pick up the prize. And when he took the podium, there was an announcement that great poet of Bengali language. And do you know how Rabindranath Tagore responded? He says, you call me here, you nominate me for the Nobel, and you are insulting me calling Bengali.
Wow.
And guess what? Unfortunately, our people don't even know that Bengali means similar to Negroes.
Really?
Yes.
So what is the correct term?
We are either Bangladeshi, and name of our language is not Bengali, it's Bangla.
Right, it's Bangla.
Bangla, not Bengali.
Right. But you know what? I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but I guess with me, like, you know, when someone...
Guess what, sweetheart?
No, listen.
If you become assemblywoman,
right.
I'm gonna chase you to bring a bill in a New York state. You will be the first woman who is gonna put, says, do you know what? It's not Bengali, it's Bangla. Put it.
Bangla.
It's Bangla.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go back.
I have no problem with that, but you see, with me, you know, I guess, like, you know, if somebody calls me Trini or Venny, you know what I mean? I don't take that too personal, but I guess that's because of the love that I don't view things in that light, Jacob. Like, when someone says, you know, Bengali, like, to me, it's like, I want my Bengali people, like, I'm eating my food, like, you know, because of the way that they treat me. Like, I'm so embraced by them that, you know, it's just...
Okay. So, next, I'm going to say that in a governor candidate, there was a lady who is running for governor. What's her name? The lady who is challenging Governor Cuomo?
Cynthia Nixon.
Cynthia Nixon. Like, as I says, listen, I know very little. I saw the television series Sex in the City. The role she played, I don't remember. In a political arena, I heard her speech once or twice. What do you think? Do you think Governor Cuomo has a better chance to keep his governor position, or you think there will be a change?
I'm not going to be biased on that. I'm going to say Mario Cuomo was a good friend of my mother's, so I respect him deeply. So I would never say anything against Andrew. I think Cynthia is a great actress. I think she's a beautiful person. And, I mean, may the best man win.
And I met Governor Cuomo. I met him for the first time in 1991. Guess what? I interviewed him. That time, the name of my television program was NYC Public Affairs. And it was fantastic. That guy was an eloquent talker. My God.
Oh, Mario, the father.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a beautiful soul. God bless him. Yes.
So anyway, I think I'm in favor of Governor Cuomo. And also, I'd like to mention that I'm really grateful to Governor Mario Cuomo for another reason. I had one mentor. He's the first African American become the chairman of New York State Payroll Board. He made first African American. His name was Attorney Edward Hammock. Edward Hammock, I used to call him Papa Hammock. His father to me. Always, I'm grateful to him. His affection, his care, always for me. Unfortunately, the gentleman died last year. I just lost like a father figure that he was with me all the time. So for that reason also, we're gonna support Governor and Andrew Cuomo, and I think he's gonna get re-elected very easy. I met a couple of people. As a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, there was a lady who is Assistant Chief of Staff for Governor Cuomo. She came to my office, and I had a wonderful conversation. I think Governor Cuomo is going to be a fantastic governor. He's doing his best to keep New York running. I think.
I respect your opinion.
Okay, and he's doing great. And there is, as you says, what's her name? Catalina Cruz. I met her. I met her husband. Her husband is a police officer. And Ari Espinal, I'm not a big fan of her. She used to work for Moya. Moya, in front of my eyes, in front of my views, I saw him when he was walking around in Corona Junction Boulevard and East Elmsteria like a freaking nobody. And suddenly, when HIRAM took fall, then he comes up like a savior and he becomes the big boy of Joe CROWLEY. Yes, man. Whatever Joe CROWLEY was saying, Moya used to say yes. And I am not big, as I says, I'm not hiding my truth, hiding my displeasure with Moya and Arias panel. Catalina Cruz is our girl. She's an attorney. I met her wonderful husband, a police officer, a sergeant for, I believe, 115th precinct. Good couple.
I am going to say this. I think that, you know, we have to sometimes look at things for what they are. And if you study the debates in general and you watch them carefully, you know, it's a three-ring circus that's going on right now. And I will say that Yarnell does sit there like a gentleman. Catalina sits there like a lady and answers all the questions like a human being, as to where Ari sits there like a mean girl.
Yeah.
It's just horrible. It's watching an episode of Mean Girls where she is just frowning up her face. She's making all these notions.
Well, to me,
it's terrible. It's terrible.
Listen, well, I respect everybody, but whenever she starts, she open up her mouth and starts talking, she sounds like a chihuahua.
I just feel that she has done everything within her power.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if she realizes that she's doing it. I mean, you know, the immaturity behind it of sitting down when someone's actually having a conversation with you, like we're having a conversation now and we're going back and forth, where you're actually sitting there and someone's asked a question, and instead of like being respectful and letting them answer the question, you're sitting there on the sideline and you're doing this.
Yeah, I know. So right now, no.
I mean, it's just,
okay.
It's just childish.
We are almost end of our time. Still, we have three positions that we have to say something. Number one, Richard Brown, Queens District Attorney, looks like a freaking 180 years old. Man is not even living in the city of New York. He lives in Connecticut. But he is a district attorney. He's arresting people left and right. There's a higher conviction. There is no judicial process in Queens County. and he is not even running Queens District Attorney's Office. I heard that Queensborough President Melinda Katz is going to take it over in October or November. That is my understanding, that they're gonna go. And Melinda Katz is gonna run for District Attorney's Office, including one of the City Council member, Rory Lanchman, and also my friend, my close friend, brother to me, David Cornwall, also is gonna throw his hat into the race.
I like Cornwall.
You do?
Yes, I think he's a gentleman. I'm impressed with him. I've had interactions, I've had conversations with him. You know, I think he's really just a dynamic person. I think he's a great individual. I've sat down with him, and I've also sat down with imams, and you know, I believe it's so beautiful, like, to watch the interaction between the Jews and the Muslims. You know, because everyone swears that they're enemies when they're not. Because educated people who believe in God fear Him, so they don't throw hate around. I like David. I like Cornwall. I think he's awesome.
Wonderful. And also, that is your future. Now, there is two things is coming. Is State Assembly and City Council. I know this year you could have been beat Jeffrey and Aubrey in a very easy way, but hey, didn't make
Thank
well.
you. Listen, I've been hearing that left and right.
Yeah, we are not gonna. I'm not gonna say anything because most possibly you are gonna go into a judicial process against the Election Commission.
Correct.
So we are not gonna make any comments on that subject.
No comment.
No comments. And I believe you're gonna pick. You're gonna decide next year that it would be a State Assembly or City Council. Whatever it is, you will make us proud. I know you will make us proud.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brother Jacob.
It would be something. Now, last and final question. Listen, I always tell people, don't do anything for me personally. If you want to do something for my country and for my community. That's all I can say. Even though you are not going to get elected this year, but next year you'll be one of the public officials. Can you promise
that will be the year after?
Can you promise me on this show that in the future you will try to handpick a couple of Bangladeshi people, put them in a democratic position?
Absolutely. Of course I would. Why wouldn't I?
Okay.
You know, let me tell you something. I can assure you, my world has always consisted of the United Nations, and my team will always consist of the United Nations. You are my brother. You will always be my brother. I have a very high respect for you. I think you're a beautiful soul, and you've touched mine because you actually just see me for who I am, and you appreciate my work, and that means a lot to me.
Thank you.
So, absolutely, my office will be run like the UN. Definitely.
Thank you so much.
I just want to give one more person a shout out.
Sure.
Because there is one more person that I just really feel that's on the roster that I'm very proud of. And I would have to say that would be Antoine Gabbins. And he's running for state committee.
Wonderful.
And the reason that I'm very proud of him is because he is a young black man, and he is the 1% of the New York Bar Association, and that combines Latino, Asian, you know, he's the 1% that made it across the finish line. And we went head to head in another campaign, and he always respected me and treated me the same way that you do, Jacob, with the ultimate respect.
What's his name?
Antoine Gabbins. And I think he's going to be a great leader. And I think that this new dream team that's going to come about it's definitely going to be interesting because, you know, I mean, my prediction is Catalina, HIRAM, Zeph, Antoine, of course, Alexandria. Alexandria, you know, she's leading the way. She paved the way for you ethnics to have a voice. And once again, I'm not throwing the elders under the bus, but you know what? Everyone has their time, Jacob.
Right.
You had your 20 years. This is what went on. times have changed. Look, we have Diversity Plaza. You know, who would think that such a beautiful plaza would be built over here? I mean, this place is just incredible.
Okay. So we are end of our time. Talea, Wufka, it's a pleasure, and I'm really proud and happy to have you on this show. And
thank you.
I didn't feel like I was doing a television interview. Rather, I was like sitting down next to my sister and had a little bit of chit chat.
You know, I feel the same way. Can I have a hug?
Absolutely.
I'm not shaking your hand. I'm giving you a hug. Oh.
Okay.
Because I feel the same way. Okay. I feel the same way.
Okay then. Thanks that you made this time, and in the future we'll do another show.
We will, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We are passing a very difficult time in this country when all the life of the immigrants in this country is uncertain. Even some folks become US citizens, but this government nowadays they're adopting some policy. In a blink of a second, they cancel the citizenship. They revoke citizenship. They revoke green card in a blink of a second. So we all have to be smart. We all have to be calculative and very careful. And on the other hand, I'll ask my fellow Bangladeshi people, please use your brain. We are living 14,000 miles away from Bangladesh. We don't have to prove that who is bigger and who is smaller. We don't have to badmouth each other. Rather, we can push someone up and be proud of that individual. If we take that path, then we'll be successful regardless. Think about it. For the last 20 years, Congressman Joe CROWLEY was making all of us fool. We thought he is doing so much for Bangladesh. The reality is, this man never supported Bangladesh, never did anything for Bangladesh. If he did, no one knows what did he do. This year, it's not that I'm doing a committee, shomiti, society. I'm not doing anything. Only thing I'm doing, helping mainstream political leader and political party. Why? Because they're the one who can help us out. And these are the one who can push us up in the near future. That our country will go up, our society will go up, our people from Bangladesh live in this country with peace and harmony, side by side with American people. God bless America. God bless Bangladeshi people, South Asian people in this country. I'll see you next time. This is Jacob Milton.